Have you broken up with diet culture, but you still want to pursue health goals? You're just not sure how to do it in a way that isn't all diet culture-y? I'm Coach Tiffany, and I help people heal their relationship with food and body using attachment theory. All right, let's talk about pursuing health goals in a way that is securely attached. This can be a little tricky because often things that you think that you should do, you think that you want to do them. But shoulds are often inherently more coming from that preoccupied, anxious side of the attachment graph. I'm going to show you the graph in just a moment, but that often shows up as like controlling type behavior, restrictive type behavior, overriding your body type of behavior. And so I'm going to show you the graph and just know that nobody falls into any of these categories perfectly or all the time. And what we want to do is move towards secure attachment. So if you're more preoccupied, anxious, you have low avoidance, but you have high anxiety and a high need for control. Thinking about it a lot, you're trying to figure it out all the time. If you are more anxious avoidant, then you're going to have high avoidance. Often shows up as avoidance of body signals and a high need for control. So maybe you have to exercise for an hour every single day, no matter what, even if you're like injuring yourself or you don't even want to exercise that much or it's at the expense of other things. Or perhaps you're more dismissive avoidant. And so you have a low anxiety and low need for control or a very strong avoidance or discomfort with control or even structure and high avoidance. So I don't really want to think about it, sticking your head in the sand kind of a thing. Secure attachment is characterized by low avoidance. So we think about these things, we consider them, but also low anxiety and a low desire or need for control. But rather than stick your head in the sand, we're going to keep those things kind of front of mind. What are the things I really want for myself? What are the things that are important for my health goals? Then we're going to consider whether that's from a place of should, more preoccupied, more anxious, like, oh, I should exercise every day, or I should eat more vegetables, but I don't really want to. Or if that's really coming from a place of like, I think I feel better when I go out for my mental health walks, or I know I feel better if I get my heart rate going every now and then, or I know I feel better if I'm out in nature. I know I feel better if I get more roughage in my diet, right? Or just want to eat more greens, for example. And that comes from a place of tending and caring for our body, being supportive and kind to our body rather than like a should, beating ourselves up. What's wrong with me? I know I should do this. I don't know why I'm not doing that, right? So it's coming from this place of care and love and compassion for ourselves. So if you kind of pass the litmus test that this isn't coming from a should, this is coming from a true desire, and it's coming from a place of wanting to care and tend for myself as I am now, then it's sort of passing the secure attachment test, right? The litmus test here. And we don't need tests exactly, but we want to make sure that we're coming at this from a place that isn't fighting against ourselves, so that's more aligning with ourselves. So once we know that we're not fighting against ourselves, this is like a true desire for ourselves, it's informed by our body, then we want to look at what is my capacity? What's realistic? So I personally, I have long COVID, and so I have exercise intolerance and exercise fatigue. And so I do desire the walks, but also if I go on walks when I'm having a high fatigue day, I try to override myself, then it could cause more harm. It actually can set back my healing quite a bit. So that's not secure attachment, right? If I'm, again, overriding my body, that's body avoidance. We don't want to be avoidant of what our body is needing at the time or what our body's telling us, our body's signals. And so we need to consider capacity. In addition to just capacity for whether that goal is appropriate or not, do I have capacity to initiate a new goal right now? Is it actually realistic that this would work? Am I trying to tell myself like I'm going to walk every day, but also I'm like traveling and I'm, it's maybe finals week, or I have a child who is young and needs me a lot and I don't know what their days are going to look like, or perhaps I have like a foot problem, right? And I don't have the right shoes for that. So we need to look at capacity, and then we look at barriers. So looking at the barriers, then we can understand, are these barriers that are addressable right now? So maybe you have a barrier of you're moving in a couple weeks and you need to like pack and all of that stuff and you don't really have as much time to devote. Okay, so I just need to wait until after I'm done moving and then I can explore my new neighborhood. If it's a bigger barrier, like perhaps you have like severe depression, right? And it's really hard to motivate yourself to get out the door, then we're going to want to address the depression first. So no matter what the barriers are, we want to resource ourselves to make sure that we can, address the barrier. If the barrier is really big, we might want to just take that health goal off the table entirely so that it doesn't start to be a should. It doesn't start to pressure us. We don't feel bad about not doing the thing that we think will help us feel better. If you're extremely depressed, you might need medication to help you get to the point where then you can go for the mental health walks, for example. Or it might be, I don't know when this is going to change, but right now it's just not really something I need to focus on. Okay, so we've looked at, is this coming from a should, or is this truly what I want and desire for myself based on good information that I have about what works for me? Is this really tending to myself and to my body? Or again, is this like a should or overriding or pushing myself too hard? Do I have capacity for this right now? Will I have capacity in the future? And what are the barriers? And how can I address those barriers so that, again, it doesn't become a should? I don't feel like I am failing at something. Okay, so maybe the barrier is like, I want to cook dinner a couple times a week, but when I get home from work, I'm just too exhausted. It might be that, okay, I just do some meal prep on Sunday or with a friend even, or meal delivery services, or what are some different ways that I might meet myself where I'm at so that I can achieve the goal or start to work on the goal. Okay, and then the last piece is, are we going to actually reevaluate at some point? Is this, again, turning into a should? Like, oh, I'm supposed to like yoga and do yoga, so it's like this should or this piece of my identity, but I don't actually enjoy it. Or I keep injuring myself. So I'm hypermobile and I didn't know that. And so for years I tried to go to regular yoga classes and I would always injure myself. And so now I know my body is not in a good place to do yoga. And if I do it in the future, I will need to do it with someone who actually knows what they're doing. And then I need to evaluate whether I actually like it once I'm not like injuring myself all the time. I think I would like it, I think I do, but a lot has changed since the last time I went to a yoga class. I'm a different person. And generally speaking, I like things that are a little more mentally stimulating. So I don't know, maybe I wouldn't like it. So once you start trying to do the goal, if it's not working, are there barriers that you didn't recognize before? And if it is working, or it's kind of like half working, then is this actually something that I am enjoying, or that's something that I want now that I'm actually in it? Not from a place of should or identity or what we think is good for us, but do I actually like this? Is this working for me? And if not, like, it's totally okay. Like, if you just think like, maybe I'm not healed enough in my exercise, in my relationship with my body to pursue exercise right now, or maybe I just don't like it, right? So if I don't like it, then how do I meet the need of movement in my body without forcing myself into some sort of exercise that I don't like? Again, because we don't want to just drop into avoidance. It's okay. Morally, it's fine. If you want to just like never think about these things, if you are just exhausted from trying to pursue health goals, I suspect you'll get along fine in life. There might be some things that go untended to though. So that's why we want to really be considering, am I approaching my relationship with my body and caring for it in a way that really feels securely attached? What does tending to my body mean to me? What are my priorities here? How does this actually feel for my body? Am I listening to that? And then continuing to reevaluate, because things change. All right, I hope this was helpful in thinking differently about goals when you're trying to break up with diet culture, and just thinking about how you can relate to yourself and your body from a place of secure attachment. If you are really wanting to learn a lot more, you can check out my book, Enough: Heal Your Relationship with Food and Body Using Attachment Theory. You can buy it on my website, coachtiffanyrn.com/book, or anywhere books are sold. You can even get it at the library. So there should be no barrier in terms of cost. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to subscribe if you want more information about how to heal your relationship with food and body.